There is an ever ongoing debate in the Lindy Hop world, and I dare say in other social dance scenes as well, about safety on the dance floor and something called Floorcraft, which is, broadly speaking, the art of not crashing into other dancers whilst you're dancing. Now, humans are amazingly good at not crashing into each other, quite instinctively. You don't have to train them, they just learn this skill. So when you're in the centre of a busy shopping street and there are loads of people, the crowds, it's a Saturday just before Christmas and there are loads of people around, you've got loads of things to worry about, you're trying to check your phone, you're trying to talk to the people you're with and walk around quickly, and you've got to get to that shop before it shuts. How many times have you just walked straight into someone? Have you in fact ever done that? Have you ever even seen anyone do that? I can't remember the last time I saw anyone just crash into someone. Now, inevitably, of course, someone will nudge you, or you will nudge someone, and you just say, oh, sorry, and they're perfectly able to carry on walking. You haven't crippled them. People are amazingly good at not crashing into each other. But when we're on a wild, exuberant dance floor of, say, Lindy Hop, then it's a little bit more of a dangerous environment. People are doing more unusual moves and much bigger moves, and they're improvising, and the band is swinging out hard, and everyone wants to go, yeah! And they do these big kicks. Now, I've been to some classes in Floorcraft, and yes, they teach the etiquette of Floorcraft, and that's something that's worth knowing. So if someone does bump you, or you feel a bump and you're not sure whether it was your fault or the other person's, it always takes two people to cause one of these collisions anyway. You don't really necessarily know whose fault it was. You just say, sorry. And obviously, if they've taken your leg clean off, you might ask for a lift to the hospital. But by and large, you're able to carry on dancing. So you just go, oh, sorry. And if someone says sorry to you, you either say sorry to them back, or if it was pretty obviously their fault, you might be gracious and say, that's all right. Now, obviously, if someone keeps bumping you over and over and over again, then perhaps you have the right to be annoyed. But that's really, really rare. In fact, I don't think it's ever even happened to me. Anyway, so in these classes, they teach about the etiquette, which is fine, but they also teach this weird sort of uber safe dance, this safety consciousness dance. That it was, oh no, you shouldn't really on the social dance floor do Charleston kicks because, you know, you're kicking forwards and backwards and so forth. You might kick someone, and you shouldn't really do a back step or a rock step because you can't see behind you necessarily, and someone might trip over that foot that's out behind you. Well, yeah, but if you don't do any kicks or any big moves or anything fast, if you don't swing your partner out and what have you, you're not really doing Lindy Hop anymore. You end up, I've seen people doing exercises on the floor. Let's all get quite crowded, and they all end up just doing this, this timid, meek, sort of hunched over, safety conscious dance. That's no longer Lindy Hop anymore. Come on, let's open out the throttle. And here's my main point. Teaching people to be uber meek on the dance floor is actually, in my experience, counterproductive. You've actually got to be quite assertive on the floor. You've got to assert your territory on the floor by dancing reasonably hard and reasonably big, and actually, yeah, reasonably sort of dangerously, if you like, and that you put in those kicks and so forth so that people know, oh, I've got to give this guy a bit of room because he's dancing there. Now, I know this because many times I have been on a rather exuberant floor, and people around me have been kicking and zooming about the place, and I've felt a bump, and then here's another one, just been kicked there. And I try my best to protect my partner, of course, but there's a limit to the number of kicks I can absorb. Occasionally, she's going to get crashed into as well. But you know what? My partners don't blame me, generally, I find. They want to be exuberant and to fly around the floor. And if I rein in, it's actually usually my partner who opens the throttle out. Come on, let's go for it. The band's really striking up here. Let's dance. Let's Lindy. And if you assert your space on the floor, you get kicked less. And if after you've been bumped into a number of times, you just think, it's getting a little bit exuberant here, I think I'll dance more. Maybe you go to Balboa or something, or you go the smaller you go and the meeker you go, the more everyone around you opens up. And yes, the more you get kicked. And I don't mean just a little bit. You get kicked a lot more if you're very, very meek on an exuberant dance floor. So actually, Floorcraft, I'm not talking about being reckless or uncaring. Of course, you've got to be wreckful and caring, but you've also got to be, to some degree, assertive. And telling people to be super meek on the dance floor, I don't think actually helps. I think it stifles the fun of the dance because after a while it's no longer Lindy Hop. But also, those people will get kicked more for being meek and not less. Lindybeige!